Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Okay, I think everything is working. It's lovely that you all came here for our webinar. Okay, I can see a lot of you already here on our chat, so great, we can start. Okay, so welcome to the second webinar on LinkedIn by Ergodesign, which is AI-powered product design. Okay. We will start with a little introduction, so let us introduce ourselves.
My name is Aleksandra Rutkowska. I'm senior designer mentor at Ergodesign, and I'm also a CMF specialist.
Okay, 1 second, because we have. Okay, probably you can hear us like multiple times. So please give us a second. Ala, nie masz włączonego tyłu siebie jakiegoś głośnika? Albo... Okay, już jest dobrze, chociaż.
Some technical issues.
Okay, sorry. So where we at? So I'm Sebastian Chojkowski, and I'm a senior designer mentor at Ergodesign. And as you might know, we are a consulting and design studio based in Krakow, Poland. We have a lot of experience in design, as our brand was established in 1993. And we provide end-to-end innovation, which is a complex service from product strategy to product implementation. Over the years, we've done many meaningful and award-winning products. And actually, this year, we achieved IF and Red Dot award. And let me show you the agenda of today's AI webinar. So, okay. So first, we will discuss the current state of AI. Secondly, we will explore how we work with AI. And next, we will delve into the AI tools we use. Afterwards, we will examine the pros and cons of AI. And lastly, we will have a Q&A session, which will be the final 10 minutes of our meeting. All right, so without further ado, let's dive into the topic on artificial intelligence. So here you can see one quote that is, I think, very accurate to AI topic. This is by Will Knight. It used to be widely thought that creative work would be one of the last things to be automated. After 2022, some may reconsider, and we think it might be true. Here we can see some data. This is based on study by NVIDIA and MIT. These are predictions, but here we can see that how big productivity increase have internet for, let's say, our society. It was like 10%. Steam power was about 25%. Electricity 35%, and it might be that 50% increase because of artificial intelligence. And it is mind-blowing, if you ask me. Here we can see some examples of creative AI and what is the outcome and from the text input. As you can see, most of the time in pretty much every of these AI tools, we use text, so prompt to generate, for example, text, image, video, 3D, audio, or interface. Sometimes it can be also by voice and by image, but most of the time it's text. And here are some examples of these AI tools. We will be focusing on ChatGPT and midjourney in our webinar, and also one additional tool. You can already see that big brands, big companies working with AI on different levels, sometimes on conceptual stages of their project, sometimes in many different cases.
And maybe let's go a step back. This is the first AI artwork sold for a huge amount of money. And this series is called La Familia de Bellamy. And name Bellamy is a tribute to Ian Goodfellow, inventor of GNA as artificial intelligence. This is good question. Will AI replace our work, our competencies? And we can see actual stage of using the generative AI, and the predictions maybe are different, but we are focusing on mostly images, and we are focusing on industrial design. So probably in the future, maybe we could make final drafts, maybe better than professionals, but we have our own stage of this topic. So we will show you how we use it currently, and then we can discuss what are your thoughts about this. So here's the next quote by Philip the Reader. AI won't replace innovators, but innovators who use AI will definitely replace those who don't. Probably this is true because many of AI tools can help us increase our efficiency so we can work faster, but this is not the only point. Not the only one advantage, because we need to have a broader look for every topic that we want to generate using AI. So we can, of course, make some concept sooner, and but we need to think harder to make a good prompt to gather good information to put inside the algorithm. Okay, and now we will show you some examples how we use AI tools in our everyday work. This is the simple version of our design process. So from strategic thinking, where we discover and define innovations, through functional concepts, and then design, and to implementation. Now we are using mostly AI in these conceptual stages, and not where we need to use our hands when we need to we need to check something manually. In the parts of functional concepts and of course implementation, we don't use it, but we know that there are already existing some tools, for example, for engineers. But in this webinar, we are focused only on our work on design. So the first example.
Yes, in the first part, actually this before actual design stages, it is discovering and defining innovations. And you can already see here one illustration generated with midjourney. And here you can see examples of our work about consumer trends. And on the left side, you can see the process so far, how we do it before AI, let's say. So most of the times we use data from, for example, in this case, from InFuture Institute, and choosing right trends for our case, for our projects. And then we basically making description of these trends and searching for suitable pictures to define what we are talking about in specific trend. But on the other hand, on right side, you can see that we can make it more automatically using ChatGPT and midjourney. So basically, the same or similar job we can make much faster, and also sometimes with better results. I mean, these photos are midjourney generated, so we can make it for our strictly for our purposes. Also, this is another example for one of our clients. These are images, illustrations of three trends that we use in our design process.
Yes, but we need to remember that these are only tools. So of course we gather also some examples of files. So we need to really have a good prompt to achieve exactly what we need. And another example of defining design trends is our design trends series. So we've made huge research in the internet, on some design events to show how what influences are on product design. And the challenge was how to describe it in some maybe understandable way, but also in some lyric way. So we gather some words that are popular now in not only in product design, but also on the market. We can see it in consumer trends, consumer behaviors, and this is one of the example that we so the input wasn't we don't want to have this trend from ChatGPT, but we input there some words, and then it helps us how to create a good definition and check if there is if some of our insights are popular in, for example, industrial design. So this is the example of the concept of aesthetic of imperfection, and we didn't know if this this sentence is good to express the designing to biodegradability or from recycling. So we ask ChatGPT about aesthetic of imperfection in the context of industrial design, and it was very very interesting that it gave us output about wabi-sabi design. This is point in Japanese philosophy that describes we can find perfect and beauty in imperfection. So it's very interesting to collaborate with ChatGPT, not only to ask what the trend is currently popular, but also to create a good explanation of our trends that we saw. And the next step was to create visual content for our design trend series that we published in our social media. And we don't want to show only existing pictures from the examples that we show, but also to make better visual content. We use midjourney to blend some cases that we are talking about in current trends. And of course, this is a lot of work. Sometimes it's not very fast that we imagined. It's really fast work, but we need to make some iterations to achieve a good picture that we actually want to use.
There is also other topic, mood boards, which is sometimes crucial in the early stages of projects, because it can help our clients understand our idea of styling and visual aspects of product. So this is like a, let's say, current stage. These are basically examples of some of our mood boards. It was basically made with Pinterest, or sometimes with Instagram or other web search, but it looks something like this. And these are real products on the market, or sometimes conceptual projects that can tell about styling of products. But we think that with midjourney, for example, or other generators like this, we can create something more unique and also creative, but still be in this mood board stage. On this higher level, you can see those examples of mood boards made with Pinterest. But on the lower side, you can see examples made with midjourney. So it feels basically the same. I mean, this on top and this on lower side. But this on lower side were made from our prompts. So we actually can create something suitable for our thoughts and for our ideas. Not only use something which is already exists, or which is in a conceptual stage.
So I think this is really important, that we can create some inspirations. We don't put into the mood board an existing product. We don't want to say for our clients, for example, yes, it will look like some brand. No, we want to say it will look like high-tech organic form, and working with prompts and working with all of these features, we can create a really personalized mood board. So I think this is a big advantage to the Pinterest, where we use someone's work. So this is also a point of discussion about author rights. And here you can see in the detail some of these examples that are really inspiring. We can create our own picture for each detail of a product, and also we can create it in some visual mood. We can also create colors. We don't need to use Photoshop, for example, to change some examples to be suitable in our mood boards. So there is also the third one, like natural style. And here we can see that making our personalized pictures for mood boards can be better, because gathering in the Pinterest, for example, we only can use something that is already exists. And sometimes this is not exactly the feature, the picture that we want to share with client, that we want to explain how we want to design a product in next step. So we can create our own resources, our own personalized boards to use different pictures in mood boards, but also sometimes Midjourney can generate something really something that surprised us, and we can use it in further projects. And also we can make some examples in, for example, one style of a product. Here we can see black and organic perforated forms. There's an example for perforation, but we don't speak about only linear perforated pattern, for example, but we can also make some levels of, for example, expression of this perforation. So the client can choose which style is better for this product. Of course, then will be discussion about technology, but on the very early stage of a project, this is very useful to make it better in decision making. And the next step of using Midjourney is creating pre-concepts. So this is maybe a form of like sketches, but in very visual, high visual level. So let's go back to this mood board that we show a moment earlier. We can see one of example that is suitable for this mood board. Of course, this is not technologically product, but we can discuss for this in this example about shapes, about LED details, about overall form. So we can make a lot of examples to make it to make better decision in the very early stage, to don't make some mistakes during the, for example, modeling, CAD modeling process, because this is very it takes very long time. So here we can make it something faster. Of course, next we need to translate it into a 3D form, to make it parametric and to make it manufacturable. So I won't replace this for now in these stages, but here it can help us to communicate faster and to communicate our vision of product in very easiest way. Okay, so we also prepare for you examples for all of these mood boards. So we can see how how many different propositions we can make in a very in shorter time, because this is not very fast method. We need to make good prompt, of course, and sometimes we need to put a lot of make a lot of iterations. But still, this is a faster way to create some concept in the beginning of the project. So here we can also see this natural mood board and some examples. So this is not just Earth sterilizer, image of Earth sterilizer. We need to put there some informations to make this concept look like we want to.
Okay, here you can see another example of similar way of thinking about pre-concept. We had this exercise, let's say. On the right side, you can see input, which is actually our design from a few years ago for some Polish brand. And we use a function of midjourney to describe this image. And this is funny because midjourney, think of it as a Logitech virtual reality headset. Of course, it was a different client, but it tells you about how midjourney is, let's say, thinking about styling. And we use this prompt, these descriptions to generate pictures, and this is output. So basically, midjourney described it in this way on the right side, and it came up with something like this, which is completely different, I would say. This is maybe better for, I don't know, game asset or something like this. It's not a product design. Yeah, but funny exercise, I would say. But then we dive deeper into this topic, and we figure out how to make fast pre-concept of, let's say, futuristic VR headset. And on the left side, you can see examples of pictures that we use to communicate our design language that we want to use, and also examples of prompts. As you can see, these are quite long texts to really generate this kind of images. And on the right side, you can see that we came up with something, I would say, very interesting. In this biggest picture, I think it is quite good picture to work on it later on. But then we think that we can develop it more or make another iteration of this type of thinking. So we think that we can combine this design on the left side from the first iteration with something, let's say, unusual for VR headset. So here you can see sneakers from Adidas. This is NMD model. And of course, a lot of prompting, a lot of other pictures to, let's say, implement this CMF from sneakers and add it to VR headset. And on the right side, you can see what midjourney came up with. I think it's very interesting on the left side how it combined elements of the sneaker shoe with form factor of VR headsets. I think it's very inspiring, and right away you can jump into Photoshop and make some sketches and develop this idea more. Of course, sometimes it's something like this on the right side. I don't know, a head with sock on it. I don't know, but it looks interesting and funny. But most important part on this iteration was these two biggest pictures. I think it's really awesome that midjourney came up with us, with our prompts and pictures, came up with something like this. This integration of textile parts with probably glass, probably elements made from plastic. It is amazing, I think. We can really work on it later. I can imagine that it is not a problem to put it on some kind of 3D software, maybe mesh-based or CAD software, make it fast in 3D and work on it more. These are other examples of, let's say, the same iteration. So a lot of very interesting ideas. Maybe some of it are more like game asset, let's say, especially this on the left side. It also reminds me of some characters from Star Wars and something like this. But you can also here see some really interesting things. For example, on this lower side, these three pictures in the middle. I think this is great, and this is something very different what we can see right now on the market on this type of products, and it is very very inspiring. And here three examples. We chose them as the best one from this VR exercise. This is really impressive, I would say. This kind of treatment of textile parts, like a housing of probably lenses in front of your eyes, is outstanding, and also details. You can see this matte piece here, and also how surface is curved here in front of a face of a human. Really impressive stuff, I would say. And here, this is about another AI tool, which is Viscom. But as you can see, on the left side, we have these pictures from this iteration of VR headsets. These are made with help of midjourney. But one thing, I was thinking about changing this frontal part, because these are, in my taste, these are much more like a, let's say, snowboard or ski goggles than a VR headset. So with the help of this software of Viscom, you can actually select, let's say, one part of a couple of parts in a project and work on it with prompts and with different pictures and make something different in this specific area. So as you can see here, we have something more minimalistic without this multiple parts element as is on the left side. And on the bottom part, you can see that we have changed this shape, as I said, like snowboard goggles, to something more like rectangular and panoramic piece of glass, probably. So as you can see, combining 2 or 3 or more AI tools can give you really impressive effects. Okay, this is another example, and this is also about Viscom software. As you can see, on the left side is input, and this maybe more colorful pictures on the right side to this output made with AI help. So in the upper part of the page, you can see our 3D model. It was actually a concept of a shoe, of a sneaker, and with help of Viscom, we achieved this kind of effects. This looks like, let's say, 2D rendering from right side view with different colors. In the middle, you can see another example. This is also a 3D model of shoe concept, and how Viscom came up with renderings to this form factor. Maybe the third one, as you can see, this orange one is a little bit different due to form. So maybe it's not the best, but actually you can use some parts of CMF from this. But this first two and last orange, these are great example that what the software is doing. So basically you have your form made with 3D software, and then this software give you let's say shaders or materials to this side view. And last example about shoes. Here you can see on the left side, this is a picture of mock-up of a shoe. This is ready-made sole, made with plastic, and like this part on the upper side with rough sketch on it. And basically we take a picture of this mockup, and this Tom with our prompts came up with something like this on right side, what you can see. I think it is very interesting because basically we skip whole part with working on 3D or drawing in Photoshop or something like this. We basically jump from making mockup, like physical piece of mockup, to let's say pre-concept rendering of pre-concept of this this shoot. So it is very because this process of making 3D model is sometimes very time consuming, so we can save a lot of time doing it this way. Okay, I can see that there is a lot of discussion on our chats, so I'm glad you are asking and talking to each other. We will have like in probably 10 minutes, maybe less, Q&A session. So don't worry, we will try to answer all these questions. Okay, here is another exercise, let's say. This higher part of the page shows visualizations of our product. On the left side, you can see visualizations of AED device. Here is some kind of concrete wall, and here is furniture, modular furniture design. And what is all about? Sometimes we need to use stock photo to make a background for our visualizations. So basically, this very time-consuming process to search for right photo to what you actually need. And we came up with this idea to create pictures instead of searching, to create or generate it in midjourney or other similar program. And we came up with these ideas. It was very fast action, I would say. So, of course, this is, let's say, different airport compared to this from our visualization. But I can imagine that it can be also used for the same purpose. And it is the same with these other pictures. I like especially this last one because we achieve, let's say, the same mood, and it was in this original photo on top. Of course, this is it took a couple of iterations, but you can also work on it, work with it more. So you can make variations of this in Midjourney or in other softwares, and compare it to like ready-made photo. It's much more, let's say, elastic to use, because you can let's say change everything in these pictures. Of course, you can probably make something similar with Photoshop with these pictures, but I think it will be much more time consuming.
Yes, so we showed you some examples of our current work with AI tools, and we know that there is a huge discussion about maybe replace all creative work with AI. So I saw in chat you asked, will we be able to know if this work is from AI software or is it made by human? But we share with you some good aspects of using these tools, because we treat it like another tool. This is not something that we want to how we want to replace our skills, because I think this is not replaceable. So this similar situation as it was when the camera was invented, and artists were also considered about using photography. And now we know that we need to have some specific skills to operate the camera in a proper way. So probably this is these tools, AI tools, is the same example. We can we know that now AI software is using only the existing pictures that we put to the internet. So maybe as also I saw on discussion, there we need to have some law to use it in a good way, to do not make any harmful situations. For example, to do not use a specific style of some artist, of course, but we need to have regulations, and probably in the near future we will have some. So it will be more. We could use it in more clear way. Now we can use an AI tools in creative work as a co-pilot to work with it, using it, but not to share all of our work with, to put all of our skills in AI tools. So I think we can now go to a discussion on the chat, because we can see there is a lot of question.
Yeah, but we have still 15 minutes left, so I think we can maybe answer your questions now.
So maybe let's go back to the top.
Okay, a lot of questions. I'm glad to see it actually. Okay.
There was a question about using information from 2023. It's on our site, yes. So how we get data for 2023? Because it's blocked if we discuss about ChatGPT. This is not about gather all of information from ChatGPT, because we know that there is a block until 21. But as we said, we use it to expand our descriptions for many trends. So this is the input was our own observation, our own work, and the ChatGPT only help us to create it in more in better way.
More structurized.
Yes.
To define it in a more I don't know
simple way maybe, and more understandable. Because sometimes we think very abstract, and we need to use a language that's common for all people, especially for our end users, if we focus on specific products.
Here is discussion about those people. I mean, it was probably in the first part of our presentation. And someone already answered this, that they are generated by AI. Yeah, it is right. So this group people situation and this situation in the office that we shown you before, they wasn't actual people. It was only AI generated.
I think this is it could be a good example of using, for example, our own photography of some situation and then remix it by, for example, midjourney to make some kind of photography stylized by specific purpose. Maybe if we are worried to use face of some people, but probably these people doesn't exist at all. Yeah.
Okay, this is one. Okay, about Pinterest, that Pinterest might be flooded with AI generated pictures. Maybe I would say this is a little bit different portal software. But yeah, maybe it's true. Maybe Pinterest should turn or make some difference how it works right now. Okay. Sorry guys, because this is a lot of questions here, so that's why we have to pause for a second. Okay, something about Photoshop beta, yeah, with generative fill. Okay, it's a great tool actually. Lately, we shown you these examples with background for visualizations. I think it is a great tool to, let's say, remove something from the picture or add something.
Okay, and there's a question: what AI tools we are using? So mostly this that we shown you. So ChatGPT, midjourney, Viscom, and
also Photoshop beta sometimes.
Sometimes, but
also DALI 2, but I don't know. Actually, I prefer midjourney now. Okay. One interesting. I hope you didn't replace a real research for generated info as the input to the project. Yeah, sure. Of course, we have to still make our own research for everything. Actually, in industrial design, it's important to take pretty much everything to your hand and test it. So yeah.
We need to have a real experience with different products, with different markets, specializations. So first step is, of course, our own research, real research. Then we can just make it simple using some tools, but we still need to make this work.
It was interesting. This third from Martin question. Do you think you are using and taking out of AI tools maximum, or you think there are more areas to implement it at your work? We are doing our best, I think, but I think there is also place for improvement. And this is the situation that probably every week we have multiples or hundreds new AI-based tools. So I think it's important to know of it and to try it out for yourself and choose the right one for your job, basically. So, yeah. Thanks for a good presentation. You're welcome.
Do we have any recommendations on learning resources for AI tools? Well, I would say the best resource is your own experience, your own work with every tool. You need to make a lot of iterations to have a good effect in the end. So I think it's for now, it's very hard to choose the
right one.
The right one, yes.
But I love this with these tools, because when you are learning how to let's say prompt in a midjourney, it is actually very interesting because you can achieve very good results very quickly. So this let's say this entry level is very appealing, let's say. Of course, when you're working on it much more and you need some specific effect on your design, it is much harder, but I think learning it can be also fun. If I compare learning how to use this kind of tools to, for example, CAD 3D modeling, it is much more pleasant, I would say, and less frustrations.
And there was a question from Robert.
Okay.
Did we use ChatGPT for brainstorming some functional to create some functional ideas for improvements to the product? So probably for brainstorming, maybe not actually. But this
not yet. But
not yet. Yes. But it is helpful to search for example, some professional resources sometimes to dive deeper into some hard topic, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is interesting, I think, from Caroline. Don't you think that a major issue may be the standardization? What about innovation? A different approach if all is based on zillions of existing data, any new approach will never be proposed. Okay, this is, I think this is a huge topic, but I would say this kind of generators, these picture generators, work some way similar to how our own brains work, because also when we are creating something new, let's say sketching new project, you also have in your head some pictures in your memory. So basically, sometimes it's natural that you put on sheet of paper something you already have seen in the past. So basically, this type of tools like midjourney, of course, this is like a mixing, let's say, existing things. But as you can see, if you're working on it as we do, like you're preparing, first of all, you're preparing your own mood boards with your own prompts, and then you combine different parts of mood boards, let's say to one design, and then make another iterations, sometimes like 20 iterations, sometimes more. Eventually, you came up with something new, let's say. So
because the prompt is the idea that came out your brain. So innovation need to came out from you. So we need to feed algorithm with our own thoughts and ideas to create something innovative. It is probably for now not impossible to create something using only the algorithm. So we need to be part of the process.
Okay.
Oh, here's interesting question. Did we use an AI tools for real work or only for internal exercises? So no, internal exercises we made only for increasing our own knowledge, and then we use it also with actual projects.
In real work.
Yes, in real work.
Of course, this is this is a very different design process. So we still have to used to how it works. But we can see this is very helpful. Of course, it is probably true that it's not suitable for all tasks. I would say not for all projects. but yeah, it might be very helpful. Okay, something more what we have. I saw actually in the middle of the chat that someone asked that it is possible to write prompts via ChatGPT and then paste it to prompt of midjourney. And yes, it is true actually, because when ChatGPT, while ChatGPT have internet connection, it is easy to make it. Also, before internet connection, it was possible that you can train ChatGPT how to prompt your thoughts, and ChatGPT came up with prompts for it.
Oh, I think we don't have any more time, but if you want to ask us more questions, you're welcome to write to us via email or LinkedIn. So here you can see a contact for us, and maybe we can stay in contact and prepare some more answers for you.
And we really hope you enjoy it. Okay, everyone. So I guess that's it from us. Thank you very much for today.
Yes, thank you very much.
Have a good afternoon.